button, like, share, subscribe, because today we are going to be talking about Judge Joe Brown's appearance on Marc Lamont's show on the BNC, the Black News Network, or the Black News Channel, and how Judge Joe Brown just basically destroyed Marc Lamont Hill and his argument on why he feels Bill Cosby should have never been released from prison. Well, Judge Joe Brown put it plain and simple. This was a travesty from the beginning. Bill Cosby should have never not only should he have been allowed out of prison, but he never should have been in prison simply for the fact that there was no evidence. That's the thing. There was no evidence that should have sent an 80-year-old man to prison. Now, be sure to hit the thumbs up button because we're going to dive into what Marc Lamont Hill had to say. We're going to put your hashtag B1s in the chat as well. Hashtag B1 because this is going to be a Black First conversation. What Marc Lamont Hill had to say, what Judge Joe Brown had to say, and we're going to talk about the Cosby case. I know if you've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times up until this point about the Cosby case, but I'm going to give you some interesting nuggets and some things you might not have heard so far. So be sure to buckle up your seatbelts because we're getting into this. Now, first, I want to make it clear. I'm going to put my statement out there, put it on the record what I have to say. Bill Cosby should have never been to jail. Do I know if Bill Cosby did these things that he's accused of? I don't know. But in the court of law, it was not proven without a reasonable doubt that he had done what they said he had done to these women, right? They're saying that there's up to 60 accusers and all this stuff. But the thing is, years ago, most of those accusers, theories and the things that they had come out against Bill Cosby were debunked. And we knew that it wasn't no good. That's why it never went to trial. That's why their stuff was inadmissible or whatever. But they still chose to use some of those women against Bill Cosby in this case that took place allegedly in 2004. So that's there. I think Bill Cosby should have ever went to jail? Absolutely, positively no. Now, the thing that they like to use is they say in his deposition, he admitted to drugging and raping women. That, once again, is also false, guys. We have to remember these are things that the media have driven. These are narratives that the media has driven. These are narratives that the media has driven and that Bill Cosby has never once, not once, ever admitted to drugging and raping women. People are saying that's why he got locked up. Hell no, that's not why he got locked up, because he never did it. He never admitted to drugging and raping women. We have to make sure that is being pushed. The truth is being pushed. Bill Cosby never admitted to drugging and raping women. So we got to make sure all of that is on the record. Make sure everyone knows about this. So let's dive into Marc Lamont Hill and his slaughter to Judge Joe Brown. Now, Marc Lamont Hill, for those of you who don't know, is a scholar. He at one point, I want to say, worked for Temple University in one of their departments. He's a Temple U professor. He's the host of, I'm reading straight off his Twitter bio, the host of BET News, the host of Black News Tonight. And so, yeah. And then at one point, he's from Philly. So that's the same place that Bill Cosby is from. And at one point, he was a regular on CNN. I don't know if he ever held a host position, but he was a regular on CNN. So that's kind of like where his TV fame came from. Now I'm going to show you the original tweet from Marc Lamont Hill about Bill Cosby, because we're gonna dive into all of this and why Judge Joe Brown was able to just simply slaughter him on his own show, because Marc Lamont Hill was confusing the facts with what the media has been driven as the alternative facts, as Donald Trump used to call it, or the fake news. We're gonna use the facts of what happened with Bill Cosby and the fake facts, or the alternative facts, or the fake news that went on, and it was partially driven by guys like Marc Lamont Hill. Now, if I can find this tweet from Marc Lamont Hill's Twitter page and what he originally tweeted that got Judge Joe Brown to respond, and it was basically saying that this is not, Bill Cosby isn't exonerated, right? Let's see. Okay, I finally found it. Golly, it took a bunch of scrolling, but sheesh. All right, so I'm going to share my screen because there's a bunch of tweets we're going to use during this broadcast. So be sure to buckle up your seatbelts and tune in. So here is the original tweet by Marc Lamont Hill about Bill Cosby. It says, Bill Cosby is not innocent. He has not been exonerated. His release means that Cosby, a sexual predator, was incarcerated within a criminal legal system that has a little regard for its own rules and procedures as Cosby does for his victims. Let me read this once again in all caps. Bill Cosby is not innocent. He has not been exonerated. His release means that Cosby, a sexual predator, was incarcerated within a criminal legal system that has little regard for its own rules and procedures as Cosby does for his victims. So here's the first problem with this. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Bill Cosby has not been convicted of anything. Bill Cosby in the court of law has not been convicted of anything. And there has been no evidence, zero evidence to show that he is a sexual predator. Where's the evidence, Marc Lamont Hill? Where is the evidence? Because if that is the case, anybody in the world, any woman in the world can come up and say, Marc Lamont Hill did X, Y, and Z to me. And I don't have to show any proof. I don't have to do anything to prove that it is accurate, that these accounts actually took place. I can just say, Marc Lamont Hill did X, Y, and Z to me. And now you can be labeled as a sexual predator, even though there is zero proof. So no, that is a false statement. That is absolutely positively wrong. Bill Cosby has not been proven to be a sexual predator. Now, is Bill Cosby a faithful husband? Probably not. Probably not. It sounds like he stepped out on his wife once or twice during his career, or once or twice during their marriage. But that just because you step out on your wife, which is not right, by the way, I'm not gonna act like that's a good thing. Just because you have stepped out on your wife does not make you a sexual predator. Does not make you a criminal. I don't care what Marc Lamont Hill says. That does not mean you are a bad person. Now, do I know what Bill Cosby has done in his lifetime? No, I don't. I was not there. I was not born in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. So these are what these decades and decades and decades ago that all of this took place. I don't know what Bill Cosby was doing in the 60s. I don't know what the hell he was doing in the 70s or 80s. But through a court of law, I do know that he has not been convicted of any crimes. And the one crime that he was convicted of, unjustly, by the way, has been overturned by the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land in the state of Pennsylvania. And he will not be retried. And you cannot take him to jail on those same charges. I do know that. I do know the state of Pennsylvania has come out and said, yo, our lawmakers, our prosecutors, our justice system failed Bill Cosby. I know that they have done that. I know that those people that sent Bill Cosby away for the last 3 to 4 years of his lifetime while he's in his 80s, while his health is declining, do need to be prosecuted themselves. I do know that. But to say that Bill Cosby is a sexual predator with no proof, that to me is just bold-faced lying. That's dangerous rhetoric, Marc Lamont Hill. That is dangerous rhetoric. Because when you set that example, especially you as a black man attacking an elder in our community. And this ain't like, once again, I'm not saying Bill Cosby is the perfect man. I don't know what Bill Cosby has done, but I know through a court of law, it has been proven that these charges that they levied against him and sentenced him to prison and sent him to prison for were not true. So the day that he's released from jail, you come out and with this is what you come out with? Bill Cosby is not innocent. He has not been exonerated. You're right, Marc Lamont Hill. You actually got this right. He has not been exonerated because you can't exonerate an innocent man. You can't exonerate an innocent man. As just point blank, period. Point blank, period. And to say that, okay, maybe some of you in the chat are saying, Jeff, well, why would they just levy charges if he's so innocent? Why would they just pick this black man to go after and pick this black man, Bill Cosby, someone who has done a bunch for the black community, someone who has donated to HBCUs, someone that has created television shows and programming that is set to educate our people and not put us 100 years in reverse? Well, it happens all the time. Black men are accused by white women and by white people of rape and the slaughter and the destruction of their communities or whatever all the time. This is not the first case. Bill Cosby is not the first case, and this won't be the last. He is not the first case, and he will not be the last. Okay, so there was Marc Lamont Hill's original tweet that kind of sparked all of this, right? I'm going to close this for now. I'm going to bring you back to my screen. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, guys. Thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. And we're going to dive into some more tweets. We're not done with Mr. Marc Lamont Hill because Judge Joe Brown ripped him a new one. I'm going to just be honest. I'm not going to show any of the video because, they'll demonetize us and take us away from YouTube. And I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is let you hear some from Judge Joe Brown. I'll read you some of his tweets or some of his responses since the interview. Let me see if I can pull up. Let's see, where you at, Judge Joe Brown? Because Judge Joe Brown, to sum up Judge Joe Brown's interview with Marc Lamont Hill, is so funny because Dr. Boyce actually put it. He said, watching Judge Joe Brown and Marc Lamont Hill debate is like watching Sha'Carri Richardson versus Lizzo in a race. Now, a lot of you guys hate that Doc goes after Lizzo a lot or whatever. I don't know. I mean, that's his thing. He explained himself and why he does that. But in all honesty, it wasn't a lie. It was like watching Sha'Carri Richardson versus anybody because he was doing laps around Marc Lamont Hill. Marc Lamont Hill, okay, so let me break this down. During the argument, Marc Lamont Hill continues to say that the reason why, he's like, yes, the Pennsylvania justice system failed Bill Cosby in that sense, right? Because they sent him to jail when they shouldn't have. They said, we won't use your deposition against you. And then, he went and agreed to doing that. And then they used his deposition against him and sent him to jail for 3 years, right? And didn't get it right for 3 years when this is an 80-plus-year-old man whose health is declining. But they still sent them away to jail. Okay, cool, whatever. And then also they used all of these quote unquote, victims or quote unquote, people that Bill Cosby allegedly quote unquote sexually assaulted 50 freaking years ago, and they use them as far as the trial goes. Okay, whatever. All of that is illegal, and that's a terrible way of our justice system. That is terrible, like so terrible, and such a dangerous precedent to set. Because if they can do that to Bill Cosby, they can do that to me. They can do that to you. They can do that to anybody. We can just make baseless claims with no evidence, no facts, and it doesn't matter if you're worth $800 million or $8 in your pocket. We can send you to jail even though we have no evidence, no facts, bad witnesses that aren't reliable, or witnesses that just simply shouldn't be on the stand, fake witnesses or whatever. Okay, cool. So Judge Joe Brown goes on and says basically all of these things that I've just stated to Marc Lamont Hill. But the thing that Marc Lamont Hill wanted to continue to press on was he went on to say that, well, Bill Cosby admitted to drugging and having sex with these women. Bill Cosby admitted to drugging and having sex with these women. But see, that is another lie. That is another lie. First, Bill Cosby, since he's been released, his team, himself, via social media, they have released a statement that said Bill Cosby has never admitted to drugging and raping women. Bill Cosby has never admitted to drugging and having sex with women. That is simply a lie that the media has continued to fuel and has continued to pump out there through all their networks and through all their media talking heads like Marc Lamont Hill to get other people, especially black people, to believe it's true. Bill Cosby has never once said that he drugged and raped any woman. And I'm going to pull up a tweet from Tariq Nasheed from 2 years ago, from January of 2019. I'm going to show you a tweet, and it has an excerpt of the deposition that Marc Lamont Hill was referring to. It has an excerpt of the deposition Marc Lamont Hill is referring to. Now, this is a tweet from Tariq Nasheed. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. It says, Bill Cosby did not admit to any wrongdoing. Here is part of that deposition that the white media has deliberately ignored. He clearly stated he did not give women drugs unknowingly. I verify the facts. I don't let suspected white supremacists tell me what to think. So look, we're going to click on the deposition. It says the case number. It says William H. Cosby. It is back from, this deposition is back from March 28th, 2006. March 28th, 2006. We're going to dive into it. I'm going to make sure you guys can see it. So I got my screen, full screen. We're going to zoom in a little bit, and we're going to make sure we're reading this. This is the annotation from the deposition that Marc Lamont Hill was referring to when he said, Marc Lamont Hill said, and all the white media will tell you that Bill Cosby admitted to drugging these women. This is the actual deposition tweeted by Tariq Nasheed 2 years ago, back in 2019. This is the question. It says, have sex with, answer yes. Okay, that was the first part. Here's the actual question. It says, did you ever give any of those young women the Quaaludes without their knowledge? Question mark. That's the question. That's the question that you've been directed to answer. So that is the question. Let's read it one more time. Make sure we're all on the same page. Let me know that we're all on the same page, that you can see this, that you can hear me, and that we're all on the same page. Here's the question. Question. Did you ever give any of those young women the Quaaludes without their knowledge? That's the question that you've been directed to answer. Here's the answer. It says a little a with a period. That means it's the answer from Bill Cosby back in 2006. The answer is no. The answer is no. Guys, let me know in the chat that you can see and that you can hear me. The answer is no. Let's read this one more time for those of you who just checked in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. Here's the question. It says, did you ever give any of those young women the Quaaludes without their knowledge? Question. That's the question that you've been directed to answer. The answer, remember, it's the A with a period. The answer is no, guys. So all of that false narrative, that fake news, that BS that was put out by people like Marc Lamont Hill and other members of the media to tell you that Bill Cosby admitted to drugging and raping women, that is what we call a lie. Those are what we call lies, guys. This is dangerous territory that we're in when black people like Marc Lamont Hill, who looks like me and you, he's a black man. He is a black man in America. He is a black man in America. He goes on his national platform with a well-respected black man judge, Judge Joe Brown, and goes up there and tells him that Bill Cosby admitted to drugging and raping women. When I have the deposition right in front of me, we're both reading it together. We have read it several times now at this point. Did you ever give any of those young women the Quaaludes without their consent, without their knowledge? That's the question that you've been directed to answer. And the answer is no. Guys, this was a farce. This was a travesty. This was deliberate and disgusting from the very beginning. All against Brother Bill Cosby. All against one of our elders. All against someone who really, really did wonders for the black community. Like Bill Cosby wasn't no mumbo jumbo bum. Like Bill Cosby gave millions and millions of dollars to HBCUs. Bill Cosby did numbers for the black community. Bill Cosby created television programming, national television programming, where there was a doctor as a father, black man, and a lawyer as a mother, black woman. Educational programming. He created a different world, and once a different world hit the scenes, HBCU applications to HBCUs rose 30 to 50%. This is what Bill Cosby did. And this is what people like Marc Lamont Hill want you to believe, that he is some serial rapist with no evidence and no facts. Now, am I saying that Bill Cosby is a perfect man? Absolutely not. Am I saying Bill Cosby could potentially have done something wrong in his lifetime over the course of 80 years? Absolutely. But we can't just lie. We can't just make things up. We can't just act like what the media say is facts. We have to actually look at the facts, guys. We have to look at the facts and not pretend like the facts don't exist, and not just give alternate facts, and not just give BS. Come on, man. And we have women that are coming out 40, 50, 60 years later saying, oh yeah, I remember he did that to me too. How valid is that? Like, how valid is that information 50 years later? I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying if you can't prove it, then how valid is it? 50 years later, we're talking about women that's coming out with things from the 60s. That's 60 years ago. 1971 was 50 years ago. So anything before 1971 was over 50 years ago. This is what we're talking about. The facts are what they are. There was no proof, no evidence. And it gets even better. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed, man, because I really like Tariq Nasheed. And he's been on this Bill Cosby thing for years now. Him and Dr. Boyce are two people that I know for a fact. Now, there's others, but him and Dr. Boyce are two people that I know for a fact that have been on top of this Bill Cosby travesty for years. Okay, so I'm going to show you something that Tariq put on his live, and I'm going to share with you guys. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button too. Thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Tariq shared this on his live. Now, Tariq tweeted these pictures 4 years ago. So look, it says, in an attempt to act like Bill Cosby trial wasn't racial, they had one of the accusers who could pass for white wear a huge afro. Tariq tweeted this back in June of 2017. Now, this is one of the women, the accusers, alleged accusers of Bill Cosby, right? I think she's of Hispanic descent. This is what she looks like on a normal, regular basis. This is her hair. This is her, her demeanor, her face, everything, her skin color, whatever. This is what she looks like regularly. Now, look at when the Bill Cosby and all these things were starting to go to trial and starting to pick up back in 2017. Look what they had her come out looking like. I mean, does that not look like a totally different woman? She has on this afro wig. She has on this like African looking garment, these hoop earrings, because they're trying to make her look black. So they're trying to make it seem like Bill Cosby not only was a sexual predator, but was a sexual predator towards black people, towards black women. This is not by accident, guys. This is what this woman looks like on the regular. She is of Hispanic descent, I want to say, of Hispanic descent, lighter skin tone, straight wavy hair, no kinks, no nothing of a beautiful African woman, a beautiful black woman. But the first time she gets some cameras in her face, the whole thing switches up. We got this, this afro wig, these African garments around the neck. Are we serious, guys? This is what took place. This is what they did to get Bill Cosby in jail. And that's not the only one. I got some more. There's some more receipts. Tariq provided a ton of receipts years ago. Years ago. Now here is another Bill Cosby accuser. Look at the difference. Oh my goodness. I mean, this is ridiculous, guys. Like we can't act like these pictures and these images don't exist. This is the lady on the left. This is what she looks like regularly. Look at all of that dark makeup. They give her some fake locks, some fake braided hair. They put some dark makeup on her, give her a tan her up, make her look as dark as possible to make it look like Bill Cosby was a predator of people of our community. But first they're make him seem like he's a predator in general, and then they put this white woman and give her some dark makeup and give her some fake locks or some fake braids, give her a head wrap, trying to make her look as African as possible, as black as possible. This is the travesty that took place during the Bill Cosby case. Tariq tweeted these pictures 4 years ago. And here she is with the main lawyer. Here she is with that same head wrap, these same fake braids, the hoop earrings that the last lady had on, the same hoop earrings that the last lady that we showed. And here she is with this woman, this lawyer lady that was so disappointed Bill Cosby was released. And they're all represented by the same lady. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Look, what's the lady's name in the chat? I can't think of her name right now. Type in the chat her name, because this is disgusting, people. This is disgusting. This is what they tried to do to our elders. One of our elders, a beacon in our community, Bill Cosby, Fat Albert, The Cosby Show, A Different World, Temple University. Come on. This is what all the HBCUs that he donated to. This is what was taking place. This cannot be. Gloria Allred. Shout out to Rhonda. Gloria Allred. And unapologetic. Gloria Allred is her name. Absolutely. Gloria Allred is this lawyer that represents every single one of these victims, alleged victims. Oh my God, this is what's taking place. And that is why Judge Joe Brown was able to go on Marc Lamont Hill's show and destroy him. Because all of these is just straight facts. What I'm showing you are the facts. This is unbiased, unapologetic. I didn't know much about the Bill Cosby case 4 years ago. I'm not even gonna lie. I was in college. I was partying. I was trying to, do all kinds of craziness. I wasn't following the Bill Cosby case 4 years ago, like Tariq, like Dr. Boyce, like some of these other people. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, are we serious? This is how we sent Bill Cosby to jail? A beacon in our community? We sent him to jail over this stuff? Are we serious? People that's claiming he did something to them 50 years ago? 50 years ago with baseless claims, with no evidence? And we're sending Cosby to jail? Bill Cosby. Are we serious? But that's absolutely what took place. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Now, I want to show you one last thing from Marc Lamont Hill, right? So Judge Joe Brown goes on there. He just destroys him. If you get a chance, look at that. Judge Joe Brown, Marc Lamont Hill on the BNC, the Black News Channel or the Black News Network or something like that. And he goes on there, he rips his argument because Marc Lamont Hill, like I said, try to prosecute Bill Cosby in the court of public opinion, and it just didn't go over well because most black people have been following this case, or that have picked it up and read the facts of the case, understand that there was no real evidence, and Bill Cosby, of those 60 alleged accusers, 60 alleged victims, there was very little to zero evidence of all of them. So all their cases got thrown to the side, and some of them coming from 50 and 60 years ago. Like, come on, man, like, get out of here. And one of the things that Judge Joe Brown brought up was like, Judge Joe Brown didn't even state the fact that Bill Cosby has adamantly denied it. So much so, listen, this is how bad Bill Cosby was denying those claims against him, that he, forced any of those women to take the drugs, forced any of those women to drink alcohol, forced any of those women to do all of these things that were levied against him. Bill Cosby said, man, I'm so standing on my 10 toes down. I'm standing so stead strong that I would take all 10 years at age 80 plus. I will take all 10 years before I freaking admit something I didn't do. I will take 10 years in prison with declining health at over age 80. Bill Cosby is 80 plus years old and said, I will do all 10 years of this sentence before I admit of something that I didn't do. He's 83 years old. He's been in jail 3 years. So he went to jail at age 80. So he was willing to come out of jail, either dead or alive, at age 90 before he admitted to those things he were being accused of. Age 90 before he was willing to admit the things that those people were accusing him of. That's how gangster Bill Cosby was. That's how much he knew of himself. That's how convinced he was, because he knew what the hell he did. Now, once again, I have to continue to reiterate this statement. Is Bill Cosby a perfect man? Absolutely, positively, hell no. But are you a perfect man? Are you a perfect woman? Am I a perfect man or a woman? Perfect man? Absolutely not. No. We have all made mistakes in our lives. And Bill Cosby is the first to admit that he has made a number of mistakes in his life. But what he will not admit, and what he should not admit, is that he is a sexual predator. And if you can't prove that he is a sexual predator, then why are we calling him one? He hasn't been convicted of any crimes. We have zero evidence that shows that he is. All we have is white women coming out saying that he is, with zero proof, and some of them from 50 and 60 years ago. I mean, come on, stop. I mean, please, somebody stop me. Please, somebody stop me. If I'm saying something that's not true, please let me know in the chat right now. If I am stating something that is not true, please let me know in the chat right now. If not, push your hashtag B1s first. Black first. We are black first, because what Marc Lamont Hill has failed to realize, that we should be fighting for our elders, keeping the people like the Bill Cosbys, the ones who put positive images of black people, not just hookers and hoes and gangster rap and all kinds of BS on our TV, but actually people who are putting education, scholars, putting money into our community, putting the money where their mouth is. But instead, we're trying to send them to jail for 10 years with baseless claims and zero evidence. Are we serious? Are we freaking serious? Now, continuing on, like I said, Judge Joe Brown, I mean, he was ripping Marc Lamont Hill a new one on this debate. And so it's funny. So Judge Joe Brown went on the show, as I've stated a number of times. And Judge Joe Brown, for those of you who remember, Judge Joe Brown was on TV for a long time, right? That's kind of how he came to prominence. But Judge Joe Brown, since he's left television and since he doesn't have white bosses anymore, I love him way more off of television and doing interviews like this with Marc Lamont Hill. He's been on with Kwame Brown. He's been on with Dr. Boyce. He's been on a number of different like independent black media sources. And I love him way more doing that than I ever liked him on television, if I'm just being honest. Judge Joe Brown is way better right now, what he's doing now, as opposed to the however many years he spent on television. I mean, this man is amazing. This man is a man's man. This man is amazing. And I say a man's man because one of the things he talked about during his interview with Marc Lamont Hill was masculinity and how important it is within our community. And not just being an old macho, you know what I'm saying, libre, but about being a man and standing up for what's right. And I commend Judge Joe Brown on all of that because that is absolutely true. Now, continuing on. So, now this is one of the funny things that came out of this as well. I'm going to share my screen because you guys know I love doing that. I'm moving, by the way. I would have had my camera on, but I'm in the process of moving and I got a lot of, stuff and a lot of in the background. But I'm going to share my screen once again. So this was a tweet put out by Dr. B, Dr. Boyce Watkins. You know, we love Doc over here. This is what we do. Doc went out and tweeted. Remember, I told you guys this earlier. He says, watching Judge Joe Brown debate Marc Lamont Hill is kind of like watching Sha'Carri Richardson race Lizzo. Now, whether he took subliminal shots or whoever, it is what it is, what Doc does. Now, this is where we know that Marc Lamont Hill was not happy about the interview. Because look at the personal attacks and the way he goes after Dr. Watkins. Now, look, Marc Lamont Hill tweets. He says, my brother. This is funny. I bet I had to get the laughs out, though. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. It says, my brother, you are a failed academic. You are a failed TV personality. You are a wealth coach but went bankrupt. You made the worst rap song ever. You never sold more than 100 copies of a book. You're terrible at everything. Instead of obsessing about me, focus on your next sale. Now, the reason why I laugh at this, right, guys? The reason why I can laugh at this is because this is how you know when someone is losing at something. When someone is losing or lost at something, what do we call people that lose or lost and then do something that's sour or nasty? They're called sore losers, right? So Marc Lamont Hill just got destroyed by Judge Joe Brown. He's getting told by everyone via social media, via his comments, via whatever, that, yo, dude, you just got owned by Judge Joe Brown on your own platform. Like, he went on your show and killed you out, big dog. Like, it just going to have to hold that. It is what it is. And so Boyce points it out. And because Boyce does have a following, Boyce does have a platform, Dr. Boyce is known around the world, Marc Lamont Hill is pissed, right? He just got owned by Judge Joe Brown. So what do I do when I'm losing or I'm mad about having lost or losing something? I lash out. I lash out at someone. And Dr. Boyce just happened to be the first person he could lash out to because Dr. Boyce called it out. And what do we do when we lash out sometimes? Or what Marc Lamont chose to do? Is we tell lies. Marc Lamont Hill has already shown that he's capable of spreading lies. He spread the lie about Bill Cosby saying he quaalude and drugged these women and raped these women. That was a lie. So what else? I mean, hell, if he can lie on Bill Cosby, who's, way more popular than me, than you, than Dr. Boyce or whatever, or way more known, has way more notoriety, he's willing to spread that lie. Why not spread the lie that Dr. Boyce failed at academia? That Dr. Boyce was a failed TV personality, that Dr. Boyce is a wealth coach that went bankrupt. Hell, we can just spread anything. We can just say whatever the hell we want. But when there's facts that actually prove that none of this stuff was true, right? like that's what we get. Once again, we're in a danger zone, Marc Lamont Hill. Mr. Hill, we're being dangerous. We're spreading false narratives and fake rhetoric, things that are just simply not true. You're a failed academic. Well, last I checked, I mean, I hope Doc don't mind me pointing this out here, but he did spend 13 years at Syracuse University. And when he left, they wrote him a check. I'm pretty sure he said that on some of his videos. So it's hard to feel when they write you a nice little check and you start your own business and it flourishes. The Black Business School is flourishing, and several other business ventures that Dr. Boyce is in are flourishing. Then it's just hard to just come out and say these lies. Like I said, when you're losing and you're mad, you got to lash out. And so when you lash out, you make false statements and lies. Dr. Boyce just happened to be the first person to come across Marc Lamont Hill's screen, because the failed academic is wrong. He's a doctor. He spent 13 years at a university. Last I checked, 13 years anywhere isn't a failure, right? And he got a big check when they told him to get gone, or when he finally decided to leave. He finally decided to leave, you know what I'm saying, because he was speaking too black, and the people over Syracuse was getting too scared, so they wanted him gone. But guess what? They had to write him a check, a nice little check. You can look up Doc's videos. He'll tell you about it. Your failed TV personality. Marc Lamont Hill, if Doc wanted your TV, you know what I'm saying, not to big up Doc, he can defend himself, but if he wanted your job, he could have it. I'm sure he was probably offered your job before you. You know what I'm saying? What happened here, the reason why Marc Lamont Hill went so hard at Dr. Boyce, I'm going to just be honest, what I think why he went so hard at him was the fact that in a video before the Joe Brown interview, Dr. Boyce did divulge, and he said this, so I can repeat it because he put it out there. He said that Marc Lamont Hill actually called him several years ago and asked him how to be on TV as much as he was. Marc Lamont Hill is a professor. He was an up and coming scholar. You know what I'm saying? Like but Boyce was being on Fox News and on CNN and on these different, cable networks. And Marc Lamont Hill called him, allegedly, as what Boyce said. Now he would have to, fact check it or whatever. But he said Marc Lamont Hill called him and is like, hey man, how do I get on TV like you? And I think the snippet of that video got back to Marc. If I'm just being honest, I think a snippet of Dr. Boyce's video saying that Marc Lamont Hill called him, asking how to be on TV like him, got back to him, and he wasn't too happy about that. I don't think he was too happy that Dr. Boyce released that information. So that is why he decided to go after him so hard. So yeah, that's the kind of little backstory behind that. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, guys. Like, share, subscribe. But once again, Judge Joe Brown went on Marc Lamont Hill's BNC television show. They were talking about the Cosby case, and he ripped him a new one. He let him know straight up, like, yo, G, like, what you're saying is false. It's incorrect. It's baseless. It has no merit. It has no facts behind it. And you should probably stop saying it out loud. And we, during this 37-minute broadcast, have debunked everything that Marc Lamont Hill had to say about Bill Cosby. And also, if that wasn't good enough, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court also said that Bill Cosby is an innocent man and that he should have never went to prison in the first place. And what I'm saying right now is that those people that sent Cosby to prison need to go to prison the damn selves. Because to send an 80-year-old man to prison with no evidence, baseless claims, no evidence, and and using alleged, documents or depositions that he was told wouldn't be used against him, is just simply wrong, immoral, unjust, and they deserve to go to jail. So those are my thoughts on that. And also, we just cannot forget how dangerous this is to have black people, black talking heads like Marc Lamont Hill on a national platform telling blatant lies over an elder like Bill Cosby. Just imagine what can happen to you. That's why this is so dangerous. Those things that he said and the things that he was doing, with even in the interview with Judge Joe Brown, it's very dangerous. And we have to continue to stick up and call it out when we see it. When stuff's wrong, when stuff's just blatant lies, we have to call that out. We can't just let that go unserved. So when you see it and we call it out, it hopefully will prevent it from happening again. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. at the Black Boss Channel, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and go to theblackbosschannel.com and follow our YouTube channel. We post on there every single day. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time.